Canelo done something that is amazing. When Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight and become light heavyweight champion, something that I didn't even see him going up that heavy, and he did that.
Canelo lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions.
The Terence Crawford being, to me, my favorite fighter. I mean, the best fighter pound for pound can be Canelo. I mean, a 147-pounder moving up to 68.
Floyd Mayweather shares his view on why Terence Crawford won't be able to defeat Canelo Alvarez, highlighting the major weight disadvantage. He explains that moving up multiple divisions isn't just about skill, it's about adapting to size, power, and endurance at the highest level. Canelo has consistently faced naturally bigger fighters throughout his career, while Crawford is entering unfamiliar territory. According to Mayweather, this gap will be too great for Crawford to close, even with his technical brilliance.
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
Robert Garcia doesn't hold back when it comes to Terence Crawford's chances at super middleweight. He points out that Crawford's lack of experience in this division could be the biggest challenge of his career. While Crawford has shined across multiple weight classes, moving into Canelo Alvarez's natural territory is far more dangerous than any step he's taken before. Garcia explains that Canelo has spent years mastering his craft against naturally bigger opponents, whereas Crawford has yet to prove he can maintain his sharpness, speed, and conditioning at this weight. He also notes that Crawford's body hasn't fully adjusted to the added mass, making him look less explosive and less fluid. According to Garcia, this could play a crucial role against a seasoned champion like Canelo, who thrives in this division.
2 divisions where he only had 1 fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford. But I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for 1 punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Yeah, good stuff. Look, Robert, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon.
The stakes couldn't be higher in the Crawford versus Canelo showdown. One analyst underlines. He explains that if Crawford can overcome Canelo's size and power, his legacy would reach new heights, placing him firmly in the same conversation as Floyd Mayweather among the all-time greats. Defeating a fighter of Canelo's stature would establish Crawford as the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of his generation, silencing any remaining doubts about his resume. However, showbiz stresses that even such an achievement wouldn't automatically eclipse Mayweather's legacy. Instead, it would position Crawford directly behind him in the historical hierarchy, since Mayweather's undefeated career and dominance across multiple eras remain unmatched. Still, the possibility of Crawford rising into such rarefied status makes this fight a truly defining moment in boxing history.
This is insane. If you were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, whatever you got him, Terence Crawford is right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao over Floyd. So I know somebody's about to get moist, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott and Barbados Joe, not Jersey. I'm Barbados. Like, that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback. I would have to assess that. 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, I still, because Cotto was weight drained. Has Floyd done anything?
Jeff Mayweather isn't buying into Canelo Alvarez's bold claim that Terence Crawford is better than Floyd. According to Jeff, such a statement has less to do with truth and more to do with Canelo trying to elevate himself by comparison. He explains that since Canelo lost decisively to Floyd Mayweather, suggesting Crawford is superior gives Canelo an indirect way of excusing that defeat. Jeff makes it clear that while Crawford is an exceptional fighter, he has yet to reach Floyd's level of dominance or match his accomplishments across the sport. In his view, Floyd's undefeated record and his ability to consistently dismantle elite opponents speak louder than any comparisons. Until Crawford achieves much more, Jeff insists there should be no discussion of him surpassing Floyd.
Remember, Canelo, that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course.
Yeah, nobody had it.
And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game,
very
obviously.
Young, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah,
to a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but he.
But how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose?
20s.
I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Don't you?
Want to make himself look like he did something.
Joel Diaz isn't giving Terence Crawford a chance against Canelo Alvarez. He points directly to the massive size difference, reminding fans that Canelo has gone toe-to-toe with some of boxing's hardest hitters, fighters who combined both power and durability. Diaz argues that if Canelo could withstand the punches of someone like Gennady Golovkin, then it's hard to imagine how Crawford, who has mostly faced men closer to his own natural size, could deliver serious damage. While acknowledging Crawford's impressive skill set, Diaz believes it simply cannot overcome the physical gap. He stresses that many fighters underestimate the toll of moving up in weight until they feel the power of naturally bigger opponents. In this matchup, Diaz concludes Canelo's strength and resilience form a mountain Crawford just can't climb.
Ask him who Skull is, they won't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is. But they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion. And
he's a champion.
He's got the kind of the other stone that's out there that Canelo needs to connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's what I can tell you.
Then in September, if Canelo wins, he's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147-pounder moving up to 68, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade?
Yes.
Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fight 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey Al-Sheikh It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that.
Even the size of the ring has become part of the debate in Crawford versus Canelo. Some argue that whether it's 18 feet or 22 feet, the dimensions won't drastically change the outcome. Supporters of Crawford believe a larger ring could give him more space to use his footwork, angles, and slick style to outmaneuver Canelo and slow down the Mexican star's pressure. But analysts quickly point out that Canelo has already proven he can adapt, whether fighting in tight spaces or on a bigger canvas. While a larger ring might offer Crawford a slight edge, most agree it won't be enough to overcome the reality of Canelo's natural size and power. At the end of the day, the fight won't be won by dimensions, it will be won by execution.
Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. If these guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring, you're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented, he's athletic, he has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset here. No matter the ring size, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant, he's that excellent. But I'm gonna tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt his odds. It's the same thing with 22 feet. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a pretty decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but it's still gonna hurt it. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, maneuver, slip, bob, weave, do whatever he wants. That's gonna give Canelo some issues. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey said it was gonna be an 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's gonna be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you play.
Terence Crawford's destruction of Errol Spence left fans convinced he can take on anyone, even Canelo Alvarez. That dominant performance highlighted Crawford's timing, adaptability, and ruthless finishing instincts, cementing his status as the undisputed king of welterweight. But analysts urge caution. They point out that Spence, despite his talent, isn't a naturally bigger man like Canelo. As a contrast, they highlight fighters such as Israel Madrimov, true bigger men Crawford has yet to test himself against. Canelo, on the other hand, has already faced opponents larger than himself and continued to compete at the sport's highest level. The lingering question is whether Crawford's brilliance at welterweight will carry over when he steps in with a physically dominant super middleweight like Canelo, a challenge unlike anything he's ever faced.
Yeah, the simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Y'all act like he just beat fucking Jesus or Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. I say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout. Canelo has gone up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68. And those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov because he's his size. So you think he gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granite chin. I don't know if y'all know the Canelo. And the only people who saying that Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casuals. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since the Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford fight. Cause I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas didn't even see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just synced it in y'all.
Gabe Rosado believes Canelo Alvarez's loss to Floyd Mayweather was the turning point of his career. At that stage, Canelo was still developing and lacked the experience needed to deal with a defensive genius like Floyd. Rosado explains that while the defeat was humbling, it became a priceless lesson that molded Canelo into the fighter he is today. Since then, Canelo has sharpened his technique, built unshakable confidence, and learned how to adapt to a wide variety of styles. According to Rosado, this evolution makes Canelo far more dangerous now than he was when he faced Floyd, and it's the matured, battle-tested version of Alvarez that Terence Crawford will have to contend with.
For under, but who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Canelo needed more seasoning when he fought Floyd, or do you think that Floyd just got his number? Period.
Yeah, I think he was very inexperienced when he fought Floyd. You know, he's a different fighter, but see, everybody's different. That fight is what made Canelo become the fighter that he is today. So, you know, that's why boxing, man, is like when they shame guys for losses, it's like, man, you just got to really see how a fighter bounces back from a loss. It's like, because, you know, when Canelo lost to Floyd, there was a lot of things that Canelo learned in that fight that he added to his game. Next thing you know, Canelo started moving his head and his counters got better and his speed, and he understood timing. He understood how to like break guys down differently because he learned that off Floyd. So I think it was a good learning experience for Canelo. And then, you know, I think that kind of fight.
Sebastian Fundora issues a stark warning about Terence Crawford's leap to super middleweight. He explains that fighting at this level isn't just about short-term physical preparation. It demands years of adaptation, something Canelo Alvarez has mastered throughout his career. The Mexican champion has consistently battled naturally larger opponents, building his body and style around the grind of this division. Crawford, on the other hand, is entering this weight class for the very first time, which Fundora believes could leave him drained both physically and mentally. He warns that the aftermath of the fight may reveal just how much of a toll it took on Crawford to challenge a man who has made super middleweight his home.
Could be. We'll see. We'll see what PBC has for us.
To play with Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo, yeah.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're gonna have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's gonna take a toll.
What about Ennis? He's the new addition to 154. He's yet to fight there. Canelo brought him in camp specifically because he's a switch hitter like Terence Crawford. What do you make of Ennis just not being in your division and then him contributing to Canelo's camp heading into this fight? Is that a good move?
I think it's good for Canelo's camp to have a fight